So I'm here today to talk about the upcoming holiday season and, of course, one of the foundations of the holiday season, holiday parties. What I can say to you is that holiday parties have already been curbed in the pre-pandemic world. Many organizations, from a risk mitigation perspective, might have curbed alcohol consumption. They might have moved the party from an evening or weekend to a lunch, or they might have gotten rid of holiday parties altogether. So this was a trend that was already underway before March 15th, 2020. Then when the pandemic hit, obviously that put significant challenges on holiday parties, most of which were canceled in 2020. And as we approach holiday parties in 2021, there's three key employment law tips that I would suggest companies keep in mind. The first is health and safety, public health, and vaccination protocols. It's really critical from a risk perspective that organizations adhere to public health guidelines when they're doing in-person holiday parties. And in terms of vaccinations, that you ensure that you only hold parties in situations where someone is fully vaccinated or has a medical religious exemption. And if they are under a medical religious exemption, they might have to undergo antigen testing as a precondition of attending. This would also be the case for unvaccinated individuals that don't fall under the exemption category, and organizations would need to determine how much of a risk they want to accept in those specific cases. Secondly, it's monitoring behavior. This is something that organizations have often been inclined to do at holiday parties. And I think even more so in the post-pandemic holiday parties, this will be important because people are craving social interaction. They're craving the ability to get together with their colleagues. They're probably more likely to engage in behavior that would be crossing the line in an organization. So it's something that companies need to be very mindful of if they're having in-person parties. And then lastly, it's balancing the risk and really asking yourself, what are the advantages of having a holiday party for morale, for engagement, for employee retention versus the risk of doing it, and God forbid having an outbreak or having inappropriate things happen in the post-pandemic world. So as you're faced with these issues, if you have any questions about holiday parties and the risks associated with holiday parties, please feel free to reach out to Rodney Employment Law directly.